Something broke in Heartland Season 19, Episode 3, and it was not just a heart, it was a bond. A moment so raw and honest that even the strongest fans admitted they cried. If you thought you had already seen the most emotional scenes after Ty's story, this episode proves that the emotional journey at Heartland is far from over. Season 19 Episode 3 begins with a quiet morning at Heartland Ranch, but it does not feel peaceful. It feels heavy, almost like the silence before a storm. Amy is out in the field early, working with a troubled horse brought in by a widow, who says the horse is the last thing she has left from her late husband. That is when we understand what this episode is really about: holding on to love, even when it hurts. From the first few minutes, Amy is distant. She goes through the motions, feeding the horses and giving commands, but her eyes are somewhere else. She is not just training a horse. She is fighting memories. The horse reminds her of Ty in small ways, and though she tries to hide it, the pain shows in her face. Viewers can feel it. There is grief still living inside her. This story brings it back to the surface. Inside the house, Jack watches Amy from the window. He knows something is wrong, but he also knows he cannot force her to talk. Jack has always been the silent strength of this family, and in this episode, he carries that role again. He gives Amy space, believing she will come to him when she is ready. But Jack has his own worries too. He has been receiving phone calls he keeps ignoring. His expression tells us they are not good news. Meanwhile, Lyndy tries to get her mother's attention. She brings Amy a drawing she made of their family. Amy forces a smile, but she is distracted, and Lyndy feels it. She lowers her eyes and walks away without saying a word. It is a simple moment, but powerful. It shows something we rarely see. Amy struggling not just as a horse trainer, not just as a widow, but as a mother. Her grief is pulling her away from the one person who needs her most, her daughter. The mood of the episode builds slowly. It does not rush. Every scene feels personal. The land, the horses, the quiet background sounds, they all reflect the inner storm inside. Amy Heartland has always been about family and healing. But this episode reminds us that healing is not a straight path. It is messy. It hurts. And sometimes it comes back when you least expect it. Something shifts in the middle of this episode. The emotional tension that started as silent begins to grow into conflict, gentle at first, then painfully real. The turning point comes when Amy tries to work with the troubled horse again, but her emotions get in the way. The horse senses her pain. It refuses to listen, rearing back, eyes wide with fear. Amy steps away, frustrated, and whispers under her breath, "I can't do this." It is not just about the horse anymore. It is about everything she has been trying to hold inside. Lyndy sees this moment. And even though she is young, she understands more than Amy thinks. Lyndy asks, "Are you mad at me?" Those 5 words cut deeper than any argument. Amy is stunned. She tries to smile and shake her head, but her voice cracks as she explains she is just tired. Lyndy does not look convinced. She walks away again, but this time, her sadness is clear. She feels shut out by the one person she trusts the most. Meanwhile, Jack cannot ignore the problem anymore. He finally steps in and asks Amy what is really going on. She tries to brush it off, but Jack reminds her that pain does not disappear just because you hide it. His voice is calm, but you can feel the weight behind his words. He tells her, "You don't have to carry everything alone." Amy almost breaks in that moment, but she stops herself and changes the subject. She is not ready to open up, not even to Jack. Then comes a moment that changes everything. Amy finds Lyndy outside, sitting alone on the fence, hugging her knees. She tells Amy that she had a dream about Ty and that he came to watch her ride Spartan. But then her voice drops. "I don't think he comes anymore," she says. This moment is heartbreak in its purest form. Simple, honest, painful. Amy kneels beside her, trying to hold herself together. Lyndy continues, "I feel like everyone forgets him now." It is a truth Amy has been trying not to face. She's been so afraid of moving forward that she did not see how it was affecting her daughter. Amy hugs Lyndy, but her eyes are full of tears. This is not something she can ignore anymore. For the first time in a long time, she realizes that grief is not just hers. her daughter carries it too. And if Amy continues to lock her heart away, she risks losing more than memories. She risks losing her connection with Lyndy. This episode pushes Amy to confront a painful truth. You cannot heal by running from what hurts. And sometimes, the people you love get caught in that storm with you. Pain has a quiet way of building until it suddenly explodes. And that is exactly what happens in the middle of episode 3. What began as emotional distance finally turns into a moment Amy can no longer escape. This section of the episode is heavy. It does not rely on loud shouting or dramatic effects. Instead, it uses silence, truth, and raw emotion to break every heart watching. The day is coming to an end when Amy returns to the barn to try one more time with the horse. The light is fading and the wind outside is low. It feels like the world is holding its breath. Amy speaks softly to the horse, trying to gain its trust, but the animal is nervous. It pulls away, stomps, and backs into the shadows. Amy tries to stay calm, but something inside her cracks. When she reaches out again, the horse jerks and knocks over a bucket, the sound echoing through the barn. That tiny moment is all it takes. Amy's hands begin to shake. She closes her eyes and tries to breathe, but the memories flood in Ty's laughter. His voice, the day he died. The pain crashes over her like a wave she can no longer fight. She drops to her knees beside the stall. And for the first time in a long time, Amy Fleming cries, not silent tears, but the kind of grief that has been held back for too long. The horse, sensing her emotion, actually calms down. Slowly, it lowers its head near her. Symbolic or not, it feels like the universe is telling Amy that she does not always have to be strong, that even broken hearts are allowed to feel. Just when Amy thinks she is alone, she hears footsteps. It is Jack. He does not say a word at first. He simply sits down beside her. No speeches, no advice, just comfort. When he finally does speak, his voice is low and fatherly. He tells her that love does not disappear just because life changes. He reminds her that Ty would not want her to close herself off from the world. Then he says something that shakes Amy to her core. You're not the only one who lost him. That line brings everything into focus. This is not only her grief, this is the grief of a family. Ty was a father, a son-in-law, a friend. Everyone lost something when he died, but Amy has been carrying it alone for too long. Jack finally tells her about the phone calls he has been contacted by someone connected to Ty's past. Someone who claims to have something important that belongs to him. A secret. Something Jack has been afraid to bring up until now. Amy looks up, tears in her eyes, caught between fear and hope. What could this mystery be? Why now, after all this time? And why did Jack keep it hidden? The emotional wall that Amy built begins to fall, and just when she starts to open up, the story adds a new layer of mystery. The episode does something Heartland does so well. It reminds us that healing is not just about facing the past. Sometimes, it is about discovering a truth you never knew existed. Night settles over Heartland. And with it, comes a truth that none of us expected. After Amy's emotional collapse in the barn, Jack decides she deserves to know everything. He takes her inside the house, where the rest of the family is quietly gathered. The fire is low, and the room feels heavy. Like everyone knows a storm is about to break. Jack pulls a small envelope from his jacket. It is worn with time, edges soft, as if it has been opened and closed many times. He holds it for a moment, not speaking. Then he tells Amy something she never imagined she would hear. The letter came from someone who knew Ty, not from his past before Heartland, but from after. Someone Ty helped shortly before he died. Amy freezes, afraid to reach for it. Her voice trembles as she asks, "Why didn't you show me this sooner?" Jack's answer is honest. He was afraid. Afraid of reopening wounds she fought so hard to close. Afraid this letter would drag her back into grief. But now, with Amy breaking down on her own, hiding from her pain, Jack knows the truth. She cannot begin to heal until she faces everything. Even the things that hurt. With shaky hands, Amy opens the envelope. Inside is a single sheet of paper in Ty's handwriting. The moment she sees it, her whole world stops. The letter is not just a note, it is a goodbye she never received. Ty wrote it during one of his trips, planning to give it to Amy when he returned, but he never came back. The letter was found by a man Ty helped along the way, and he sent it. Believing Amy deserved to hear Ty's last words, Amy begins to read silently, but by the second line her voice breaks. Every sentence is filled with love, hope, and everything left unsaid. Ty tells her that no matter what happens, she and Lyndy will always be his heart. He tells her not to be afraid of the future. He asks her to keep living, to keep writing, to keep loving. And in the final line, the one that brings Amy to tears, Ty says, "If love is a journey, then I'm still with you. Just look for me, and I'll be there." As Amy collapses into Jack's arms, Lyndy walks down the stairs, holding her stuffed horse. She sees her mother crying, but does not look afraid. Instead, she climbs into her lap and rests her head against her. For the first time in the episode, Amy does not hold back. She lets herself feel everything. The grief, the love, the goodbye. But just when it seems the moment could bring peace, Heartland takes a turn no one expected. Jack admits that the man who sent the letter wants to meet Amy, and he says he has something else that belonged to Ty. Something he claims will change everything she thought she knew. The screen fades on Amy's shocked face. A mix of fear, hope, and something we have not seen in a long time. Fire. This cliffhanger does not just hook the next episode. It pulls us straight into it. The moment episode 3 ended, something happened across the Heartland fan community that we have not seen in years. Social media lit up with emotional reactions. Fans did not just watch this episode. They felt it. It reached into something deep, memories of Ty, the long road of Amy's healing, and the reminder that love does not end just because life changes. Many fans admitted they cried harder in this episode than they have since season 14. On fan forums and groups, comments were flooded with messages like, "I thought I moved on after Ty, but I guess I didn't, and Heartland just broke me again, but I loved every minute of it." People were not just reacting, they were connecting. That is rare for a show in its 19th season. Heartland is not just telling stories anymore. It is reaching people where they live, in their hearts. Others praised the writing, and how this episode honored Ty's memory without forcing his story. Instead of bringing him back in flashbacks or using him for empty nostalgia, the show treated his presence with respect. He is still part of Amy's life. He is still part of Lyndy's life. And most important, he is still part of Heartland. One fan wrote, "Ty's body may be gone, but his spirit will always ride at Heartland." That line alone shows how deeply fans are still connected to him. Some viewers focused on the relationship between Amy and Lyndy. They called it the emotional highlight of the season. Parents watching with their children said they saw themselves in Amy, trying to be strong, hiding the pain, not realizing how much kids feel even when they do not say it. Fans appreciated that Heartland is not afraid to tackle emotional truth. Grief is not a quick story arc. It is a quiet companion. It changes shape, but never fully disappears. And this episode captured that in a way that felt real. Then there's the mystery, the letter, the unknown man, and the secret connected to Ty. Fan theories are everywhere. Some believe the man is someone Ty worked with overseas. Others think he might know something about Ty's final months. A few even believe Ty may have planned something for Amy and Lyndy before he died, something unfinished. Whatever the truth is, fans agree on one thing. Episode 4 cannot come fast enough. This episode did more than revive old emotions. It reminded fans why they fell in love with Heartland in the first place. It is not just a show about horses. It is a story about people, love, and the courage to keep going, even when your heart is broken. Heartland Season 19, Episode 3, is not just another chapter in a long-running series. It is a reminder of why this show continues to matter after nearly 2 decades. It does not survive on drama alone. It survives on heart. It survives on truth. It survives because it understands something many shows forget: real life is not always easy. And love does not protect you from pain. It only gives you the strength to carry it. This episode broke Amy open in a way we have not seen in years. For so long, she has been strong for everyone else. Lyndy, Jack, Lou. The Ranch Butt episode 3 forced her to face her own heart again. And for us watching, it was impossible not to feel that pain with her. When she found Ty's letter, it was like time stopped. For a moment, it felt like he was back, not in body, but in spirit. That is why this episode struck so deep. Because love like that never really goes away. It stays alive in memory, in the people we love, and in the stories we choose to carry forward. But the hardest truth in episode 3 is also the most beautiful. Moving on does not mean forgetting. Healing does not mean letting go of what mattered. It means learning to live with it, to honor it, and to keep living anyway. That is exactly what Ty asked Amy to do in his letter, keep living. And now, for the first time in a long time, Amy seems ready to try. Now, the story turns. There is a mystery waiting in episode 4. Who sent that letter? What else did Ty leave behind? And why reveal it now, after all these years? Something is coming. Something began. It is going to change the Fleming family forever. We are not just watching characters anymore. We are watching a legacy unfold. So now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the man who sent the letter is telling the truth? What do you think Ty left behind? And most of all, do you think Amy is finally ready to open her heart again? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if this episode made you emotional, you are not alone. We are all going through it together. Make sure to subscribe so you do not miss my breakdown of episode 4, because things are about to get even more intense at Heartland. Thank you for watching, stay strong, and as Ty said, love is a journey. We ride it together.